We just got some very good news in on the ETF side of things, and I want to talk to you about what's going on, give you everything you need to know, and also how this will affect the price of XRP. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. And along with that, I want to talk to you about something that no one seems to be talking about that is also very big for Ripple and XRP. If you do like talking about Ripple and XRP, type in X in the comment section, click that like button, and let's get into it. Huge news we just got in. As last night, Eleanor Terrett, who many of you are familiar with, she used to work at Fox Business, right? Now kind of doing her own thing. She's an independent reporter, very quick, very good. She wrote, new Canary Funds, institution Canary Funds, spot HBAR and Litecoin ETFs are now effective and will begin trading on the NASDAQ tomorrow, according to CEO of Canary Funds. Now, this is very interesting. She put that out last night. So, of course, these ETFs going live here today, and HBAR already up 16% at the time of this recording. So this is great, but you may say to yourself, well, great for HBAR. What does this have to do with XRP? Let's talk about that. But first off, how is this even possible with a government shutdown going on? Well, Eleanor Terrett writes, well, the operation of law does not always actually require an open government. In fact, it's my understanding, she writes, the 8A filings are just important as the S1s in getting these ETFs ready to launch. A quick catch up on terminology. The 8A formally registered ETF shares under the 1934 Act for trading on an exchange, while the S1 registers them under the security laws of 1933. But what about the SEC staff needing to greenlight the S1's registration statements? She writes, here's the key. The issues include language in their amended S1s that lets them automatically go effective 20 days after filing. Furthermore, writing, typically, issuers delay S1s until the SEC takes them effective, but the legal default is what the S1s go automatically effective without the SEC intervention. And lastly, that means that the agency essentially doesn't need to approve them manually, and the filings can go live on their own even during a shutdown. So long story short, all the legal boxes are checked and these ETFs are on track for launch. Moral of the story, whether the government is shut down or not, these ETFs can still go live. And what we're seeing right now with HBAR is an explosive move. Now, getting into XRP ETFs and what is about to happen with what I believe is a very explosive move, because a couple things here we have to realize. First off, HBAR only had a couple filings versus the 11 spots for XRP ETFs. So we have a ton of work for them to get these ready to go, launch. When not saying in terms of time, it looks like they're going to happen regardless whether there's a shutdown or not, and they're about to happen. And right now, seeing the HBAR is making a big move is great news, because I've cautioned and warned and said, hey, look at what happened with the Bitcoin ETFs, right? On launch, initially we saw a pullback on the Bitcoin ETFs, and then of course it rose Bitcoin over a period of time in a big way. And that's what I anticipated with the XRP ETFs. Not a big explosive move like many were talking about right out the gate, but over the course of a month or two, seeing billions coming in and seeing us go over double digits, $20, $30 and plus, right? And seeing a lot of liquidity flowing into XRP. But that's luckily not what we're seeing right now with HBAR. HBAR is doing a 16% move right now, right off the gate, and they don't have, and XRP ETFs dwarf what HBAR has in terms of ETFs. And so, as we could literally get ETFs for XRP ETFs anytime at this point in time, we could see an explosive move for XRP right out the gate. and finish this year extremely strong. Whether we have this government shutdown whether we get interest rate cuts, furthermore, interest rate cuts, which of course we will, whether we get law or not, just the ETFs alone could end this year very, very strong. Now, I think the ETFs are just scratching the surface. I've said many times that we have a lot of different things happening right now that are about to happen for XRP to give it an explosive move. But this is very good news. I'm looking at the chart right now, up 17% for HBAR. And so very, very good move we're seeing on HBAR right out the gate. I think this gives us a very good idea on what is coming to XRP. And to give you an idea on how confident I am feeling and how good I'm feeling about what's about to happen for XRP, I just bought more this morning on this news. And I've said many times, I'm not done buying XRP. I'm going to continue to buy. But sometimes you take a look at news and it gets you hyped up, gets you excited. And I bought some more XRP today just on what is happening right now. Now, Vincent Van Code, I've featured him in the past, and he talked about how, yesterday I was talking about Western Union and the relationship with Ripple and XRP. And he put out a post talking about how Western Union will use Ripple, XRPL, and XRP. Why? Well, a couple reasons. We talked about how they've been doing pilots with Ripple, utilizing XRP with pilots and so forth for a while now. But he writes, big players don't build a new wheel. They buy it, they acquire it. And that is what we are seeing with Ripple. And he says, the folks who think that XRP tokenomics haven't got a clue do not have a clue what's going on here, that think that we don't have good tokenomics. He writes, Ripple is a service provider and compliance beast. They are a very attractive solution to the complex program and problem out there. And so essentially what he's saying here is, what I foresee is Ripple gobbling up Western Union. Right? It only makes sense. And some of these other providers out there. And I know someone said yesterday, well, I thought XLM was Stellar was working with Western Union with XLM. Well, what we have to understand is a lot of different companies out there, crypto companies, are working with some of the same partners for different use cases and utility. But Ripple's working with more institutions, more financial institutions and banks than anyone out there. They are the Google of this space, right? And so, yeah, there may be other cryptocurrency companies that are partnered with these particular traditional, if you will, financial service companies and providers out there, but they're not even close in comparison to what Ripple is doing and the amount of partnerships Ripple has. And so this is why, again, most of us in this community have went so deep in on XRP, because we know this is the opportunity, like Tesla in the past, Apple in the past, Google in the past, in the early days where there was a lot of volatility, a lot of stagnant times that ended up being explosive moves, seeing thousands and thousands of percents in gains just based off holding. And that's the beauty of it all, guys. All we have to do is literally just sit back, hold, and let it all come to fruition. And that is exactly what we are seeing. And so I just want to make sure I got this ETF news out to you. Very, very good stuff to see. Again, HBAR right now, I'm looking at the chart, up about 17% right out the gate. What do you think is going to happen when we see all of these numerous XRP ETFs go live, when HBAR again has 1/10 of what XRP ETFs have? I think we have a lot of good things coming to us in terms of price action. That's all I got for you for now. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions in the comment section below. We'll see you all in the next one.